Here we go, first poet, second round, Barbara Adler, everyone.
Oh no! Chaos! Anarchy!
Florence can read the secrets from a face. Like they're printed uppercase, bold, 72-point font, black letters on yellow background, blazing across the billboard, obvious. But words. In all the ways you can get words, whether paper printed, blinking on a PC, spoken directly, megaphoned, repeated, or eavesdropped. Florence has always found that words are strangers who only care to show her their backs. Books are tight blank faces, government forms are double-crossed labyrinths. She works at a store that sells picture frames. This one time, some tourists came in and wanted to know how to get downtown, so she could have helped them out with landmarks, but they insisted she find it on a map that had names of streets printed in such a sardine-packed jumble. The downtown course shifted and shifted in front of her like Pacific Boulevard, Drake, Homer, Howe, Drake. She had to tell a lot of lies to get this job in the first place, and now she mainly tries to stay at the back. She refuses to publicly stumble over the frou-frou names the store gives their frame colors. Doesn't realize that 9 out of 10 people who come in don't feel comfortable pronouncing aubergine either. Just like filling out tax forms makes 90% of people feel inferior, to Florence, everyone else speaks miracles. Little girls flip gold coins out of their mouths and their parents don't even notice. Florence wonders what's the use of being able to read faces when you can't even say what you notice. She hates that saying, pictures don't lie. Because they do. It's just another things they decide not to tell you. So this one time she came home with a cat of food because it had the most delicious looking cut of fish drawn on the side of it. Now, what exactly are you supposed to say when you realize you come home with cat chow? That night, Florence and her husband revisit the when and what then conversation they've been having for years now. When are you going back to school? If I die, what then? Shit.
Rhoda, you know it?
Florence feels the hand of a giant pressing into her chest. She's made of wax. His hand just sinks and sinks. The next day, she's back at the back of the store. Today, there's a man who's been standing for like 10 minutes in front of the sample wall, lifting an 8.5 by 11 sheet eye line with the frames. The picture he claims is of a rainbow trout, but Florence has reason to doubt it. Florence figures if that fish were put on the side of a tin, people would probably expect to get cat food. It's that mangled, but Florence knows faces. And this man's face is saying that the picture he is holding is a picture that must be pressed delicate against alabaster backing. And if you were to put one of those career and personal planning gold sheets in front of Florence at this exact moment, here's what she'd fill in. If Florence went back to school, she could open up her own gallery. She put the cat food fish somewhere in the middle. Yes, she actually is that sentimental. But what Florence would like to do more than anything would be to sneak in sometime in the middle of the night and write all of the descriptions. Tell why things were important. Give you the whole story about anyone who ever stood humble before the hauteur of teakwood, the self-assurance of oak molding, and then in the morning she'd come in and watch people's faces and see if they could tell that someone like her wrote it. Someone like Florence, who's got a voice and an eye like her namesake Florence, the gallery city in Italy full of pictures placed on pinnacles. She notices you and thinks you're a miracle. You have met Florence, might have guessed that she had secrets. The one, her trouble with words. The other, the fact that she is worth the city of monuments she'd build for everyone else. She just needs someone to notice.